we watched Antman and the Wasp Quantumania, and by God, it was severely disappointing. That's what I would say. It was severely disappointing. But a lot of people would probably say it was probably one of the greatest Marvel movies of all time, one of the best Disney movies, MCU movies. But it definitely was not that, because there was some freaking headlines in there, or some text in there that the directors wanted to just add in, which was completely idiotic, or just flat out brain dead to some people out there. But we we just got back into watching Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Kang the Conqueror. Spoiler alert, guys. Modoc was in there, and once again, it's just like so much wasted potential with this one movie alone. But the one thing I will say for this movie is that this movie has some terrific graphics, illusions, like the CGI. They really went above and beyond with this movie. But as far as the storytelling goes, storytelling was not really there, or the action wasn't there. Like there was nothing about this movie that really made me get up on my seat. Like oh look at that. No, like none of that. But that's my take on it. Count Chocula. Let me know what you think about it.
Well, for one, they used that technology. They made sure on the preview. I got there about 15 minutes early. They made sure on the preview that they let everyone know they were using the Mandalorian technology, where they've got it's not like the actors can see the images on the green screen.
Right.
Normally, when they used to do those kind of movies, they just have a green screen, like the Avengers, and basically the actors are acting against the green screen. Well, they have the technology now where they have that image on the green screen projected digitally. So yeah, to your point, the CGI was not bad. They've still got a little ways to go to perfect that kind of CGI, but I didn't have any kind of problem with that. I'm not a big CGI guy. I don't judge movies by that. I'm more about how the movie is put together, the acting, the story. Let me say this about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It's a tale of two movies to me. I enjoyed the first half of the movie. Mm-hmm. I was like sitting there. I had seen a couple previews on it. I didn't go into any kind of spoilers. I know Kang from the old 70s comic books. I know all that. A lot of people are like, why would they have Kang in there? He's not a main villain. He is a main Avengers villain from the comic books. The average movie-going audience isn't going to be familiar with that character. He's not Ultron level. He's not Ultron level villain for the Avengers. He's not even like Baron Zemo or Masters of Evil level villain. But I was excited about having Kang. And when I saw the visual representation of Jonathan Majors as Kang, they got the visual of the character perfect, I thought. Now, maybe not they're a little off, but it's as good as Thanos as far as that's concerned. But going back, I enjoyed the first half of the movie. I thought they were setting it up perfectly. The last half of the movie just went off the rails for me. They just lost me. There was so many plot holes. There's so many things about that story that make no sense.
Right.
That they're trying to set up. For one, Janet Van, like you said earlier, we have spoilers. Janet Van Dyne has this big secret. The whole story is revolving around, she was in the quantum realm for 30 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to talk about it. She's like, no, nothing goes on in the quantum realm. It's no big deal. It's empty. It turns out there's a whole lot going on in the quantum realm in the MCU. And she wanted to keep that a secret because she kind of was involved in getting Kang back on his feet a little bit in the quantum realm, trying to recover his time travel technology or whatever they called it in the movie. But it makes no sense of why she would keep that a secret. If the quantum realm is dangerous and Kang is this big threat coming, you'd think she'd be screaming bloody murder the whole time. You know what I mean? After she came back from the quantum realm, she knows Hank Pym, and she knows her husband is always going to be tinkering with that kind of technology. He's going to be delving. They already used it to save the world. You know, the Antman, Scott Lang, I saved the world. He wrote a book about it. They wanted to, they kept going back to the jokes. Why would she keep that a secret?
Right.
She should be sounding the alarms. Kang, that we got to seal off the quantum. She should be saying from the get-go, we have to seal this off because we can't let him out. But I was intrigued when they said that he was exiled, because I was wondering, what does Kang have to do with the quantum? What in the comic books, Kang has nothing to do with the quantum, any kind of quantum realm. You know what I mean? I thought it was weird. It's like, why is he there? And they never delved into why he was there. The other Kang variants were scared of him.
Okay,
but they don't say why. Go ahead. So
I'm kind of a normie when it comes to this. So was Kang not a multiversal being just trying to take over, or was he like something different from the comics?
He was. Now I don't know what they've retconned him. You know what I mean? I haven't read a Kang Avengers comic book since the late 80s.
Right.
But original Kang had nothing to do with all this multiverse stuff. He was just a guy, and they should have stuck with the simplicity of this story. He's a guy he's just a warlord from the 35th century or something. And he wants to make sure that he tracks timelines to ensure that he is the dominant force in the future. And anything that strays from anything that he sees as a threat in the past, he goes back to the past and deals with it. And he's an arrogant SOB. And the way I like Jonathan Majors, don't get me wrong. I think he's got potential to be a really good actor. Mm-hmm. They don't write Kang right in this. They're making him way too simplistic. He's way more arrogant in the comic books. He wouldn't get his hands dirty in fisticuffs with Scott Lang Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't happen. You wouldn't see Kang break a sweat. Okay, he's Dr. Doom level. I'm above you. He has contempt for everybody, and that was a little bit of a problem.
Wait,
like I said,
Kang was that strong? He was Dr. Doom level type strong?
Well, he's 35th century warlord. He's got all the technology. Oh, he would wipe Dr. Doom off the map.
Really?
He's got 35th century technology. Yeah. The dude can travel, but there's also variants of him in the comic books as well. You saw him at the end, and spoiler, the post-credit scene with Immortus and Ramatut and all those characters. Those are Kang variants from the comic books, way back from the 70s. So, but my point is, they were doing well to build up the story the first half of the movie, I thought, because I really liked the scene where Janet Van Dyne, Michelle Pfeiffer, and him, it showed the backstory where she was finally explaining who Kang, like her experience with Kang, where they were together in the quantum zone or quantum realm or whatever you call it. And they were working together to renew his technology to escape from there. And then she touches his neuroship and finds out that they did a little flashback. They should have had more of that. They should have developed that. I want to see why Kang was exiled. I want to see scenes. Don't tell me about it. Show me more flashbacks of Kang being developed as this big threat, because I just didn't feel they made him a bitch towards the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I was really caught up in the first half of the movie, and then they just lost me.
Yeah,
The second half of the movie,
that's my thing. Like they just showed Kang just dropping into the quantum realm. With Michelle Pfeiffer. No explanation at all about how he got there.
exactly.
He just Michelle Pfeiffer was explaining what Kang was doing there. He said like he was exiled. I mean, by who? Like who is more powerful than a multiversal conqueror like Kang as they depicted in this movie? My first thought,
And from the future,
right? Yeah, my first thought
yeah.
was the Celestials, but then it came out like it was just other Kangs that didn't like what the conqueror was doing. I'm like,
They were scared of one of their own variants, time variants. Now, it would have made more sense. Have you watched Loki on Disney Plus?
I had not watched it. I'm not even planning on watching
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Well, they have a time council, the time authority, and they track the variants in that. And that's where you got the preview of Jonathan Majors as Kang. He was in I think the last episode for like 10 minutes. They previewed him as the one who shall remain,
Right.
which is a variant. He's like the nice Kang. Okay, he's kind of like the wise, kind of more gentle, down to earth Kang. He's not the maniacal warlord, but he's warning them that there's time variants of me that are dangerous, that's eventually going to be a threat. So I just don't understand why they couldn't show more. What they should have done is had the time authority exile Kang.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, explain and show with a flashback of all of the events that led to Kang getting to the quantum realm. Without that, to me was kind of nonsensical. Okay, he's there. He told Michelle Pfeiffer or Janet Van Dyne that he crashed there, that he got there by accident. Well, you don't get to the quantum realm by accident.
Right.
How does that happen? You've got to have some sort of technology. Well, if the Kang variants that exiled him to the quantum realm have that technology, then it would make logical sense that Kang, future Kang, the badass Kang that they're all worried about, he would have that same technology. But Janet Van Dyne figures out how to get him out of the quantum realm in 5 minutes toward the end of the movie.
Right.
She figures out how to open the portal. They've been there for decades,
right.
And he can't figure it out. That he can't. Like I said, there was so many plot holes that were starting to unravel toward the end of the movie. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's also the fact that they wanted to make Kang like the next big thing when it came to the MCU, but then they end up first bringing them in, the third Antman movie, where they're all in the quantum realm right now because Scott's daughter Casey, she's been working on, trying to figure out what was going on with the quantum realm. She's been working on her own suit, which again they just came up out of blue, they
all of a sudden she's got a suit.
Yeah,
all of a sudden she's amazing. She learned all this stuff by reading Hank Pym's journals while they were blipped out of existence for the 5 years.
Right.
When Thanos snapped them out. I'm supposed to, and then she's developing some little satellite that's sending a signal to the quantum, and all of a sudden, when Janet Van Dyne the original Wasp finds out that they're working on that technology of sending a signal, she starts freaking out. Well, she should have, right when she got back from the quantum realm originally, when she got rescued from the quantum realm, she should have said, we got to shut this down.
Right.
If you're going to work on any quantum realm technology, you're jeopardizing every timeline that's ever existed, because if this guy gets out of here. But no, what'd she do? Secret. Doesn't even talk about it. She wouldn't say. I mean, there was just too many,
because of plot. That's why.
Because of plot. I was about ready to say, because it's convenient for lazy storytelling plot, and that's exactly what it was. I thought the first half of the movie they did good. I was like, oh, this is leading. I was like, all these bad reviews are crazy. This is going to lead up to something. We're going to see all this stuff unfold. And what they do? Jokes. We got jokes. cut to a joke every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Show these crazy characters, these crazy quantum characters with holes, obsessed with holes and shit. And I'm just like, come on, man.
Now, my biggest problem was, it was basically the start of the movie where, when you first meet, Scott's a huge celebrity now. He's an Avenger. Everybody knows. Cool. He's getting his recognition. My main problem was when first got introduced to the adult Casey, because last time we saw her, she was a little child. Now she's 18.
Right.
She's 18 years old. In this story, the first scene that they showed her like this potential new Avenger, this young female Avenger. First thing that we see her in, she's in jail because of some activism and all that stuff.
Because of some protest, and she shrunk down a cop car with the pin particles. Okay, that was kind of neat. That part right there, but that makes no sense. What I mean, it's just, I mean that part was just like. I understand. I understand that there are some problems with the first half of the movie. Don't get me wrong. There's some stupidity thrown in there.
Right.
And that's one of them. I mean, they should have showed a flashback of her developing the suit,
right.
of her looking through the journals, doing the work. I'm tired of this lazy storytelling where things are just there. You know what I mean? We're just going to tell you it happened. We don't have to show you how it happened or anything like that. But you're 100% right on that.
Yeah, like they did the whole, She-Hulk is apparently more powerful than Bruce Banner's Hulk. Like that makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Like she literally just got powers now. All of a sudden she's better than Bruce Banner, which Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner nowadays he's pretty soft. Especially I ain't like.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, Professor Hulk, the way they did it in Endgame, I thought that was pretty cool. Hulk and Bruce Banner finally became one.
The smart Hulk. Yeah, they did that in the comic books in the 80s. Yeah, and all throughout. They'd go back and forth on him retaining the intelligence. I prefer the brutal Hulk, but yeah, it's just there's just too many. That's another plot device. They didn't show. They didn't build it. It just kind of happened.
Right.
It's just kind of it's bad storytelling to tell and not show. And these movies are getting worse and worse and worse at it, man. And I'm telling you, they've got to start cracking down on the screenplays for these movies.
I mean, even with Wakanda Forever, okay, we got the gist of why Shuri was next in charge of coming, because even in the comics, Shuri did become Black Panther. It's the way like so T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, he tragically passed away from cancer. They wanted to revolve this movie around him. They wanted to put some story in about Shuri and what she's going through in order to become the next Black Panther. That was actually a cool concept right there. Even though the movie was not really that good, it was mid at best. That was a cool an actual good concept they was actually doing with Shuri. She's going through some she's traumatized right now, but T'Challa's blatant brutal passing, and now everybody's pressuring her to being the next Black Panther, and like, no, I don't want to do that because that's not what I want to do. Then she ended up after Noah came in and just killed Shuri's mom. Then that's when she got rage filled. I mean, it's the same thing that happened with T'Challa in Civil War. The dad died. He got hella pissed off. He put on the Black Panther suit. Yep. Then same concept there. It's just just reverse genders. That's a concept
I had no problem.
I can go with right there. The thing with Antman and the Wasp, and when it came to Casey, like you said before, it's just no explanation about how Casey got the
There's
suit.
no story arc.
Yeah, no, it's no story at all. No story at all about
just
that.
There. Yeah. No, I had no problem with Wakanda Forever. That part of the character development, I had no problem with Wakanda Forever. I mean, it made perfect sense. The story's not bad in that. I just thought the movie was kind of bland. Right. I know you're not going to like this, but I would have preferred them recasting. I want to see Black Panther.
Yeah.
Hey, Chadwick Boseman's cool. I loved him in Civil War. I don't like how they toned him down. I know he's a noble guy, and they make him more like the comic book in the first Black Panther movie, because he's more of an honorable, noble guy. But I wanted to see more action. I was just kind of bored in Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. Those two movies just kind of bored me. I wanted to see more action. The stories weren't bad. I had no problem with the story aspect of it, but the Quantum Mania, and I enjoyed a little bit of the action. It was cool seeing Kang fire the lasers and all that. That's not really Kang's thing. He is a technology. I wanted to see him restore the time chair, and like I said, he's way more arrogant. Like, if you don't know anything about Kang, watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated from 2009, I believe, where they have Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where they have a story arc where they fight Kang. That's the Kang I want to see. Because he's arrogant, like Doctor Doom arrogant. The guy knows what's going to happen. He's from the future. He knows what's going to happen. So his whole point of existing is going back and stopping things from happening. They should have went with that instead of he's trapped in the quantum. It just doesn't make sense. Why is he trapped in I just can't get over. The whole time I couldn't get over that. And I was expecting a rational explanation during the movie. And when I saw I wasn't going to get one, I kind of tuned the movie out a little bit. Right. The movie kind of became pointless. The second half of the movie to me was pointless.
That's also the thing. Like Kang is supposed to be like this evil genius, dictator type guy. But he telling me he can't rebuild his own ship. He needs the help of somebody else in order to do it. And that's where that's where like the another plot hole. He's supposed to be this futuristic conqueror that's supposed to have all this together, like you saw at the end fight, where he literally built like this entire futuristic utopia for his benefit. He built all that with his mindset, but he can't repair like a certain barrier for his own ship.
Yeah, he builds an epic citadel. Futuristic. He's got futuristic technology. The guy is from the 35th century or whatever century it is. I mean, he's way above technology, anything Tony Stark or Reed Richards could touch.
Right.
Okay. That's the basis of Kang. And this is the worst Kang. This is supposedly the variant that's the most despicable, the most, and they dispatched him with futuristic ants. Really?
Yeah, you got to remember this is the Mickey Mouse version of Kang. So
I know.
They're gonna water him down.
I always come from the source of the essence of the comic books, and I know they're gonna stray. They're straying even more and more, and I expect that, and I don't have a problem with that. But you still have to be grounded in a little bit of the core essence of the character. Now, like I said, visually, I loved it. It exceeded my expectations of what he looked like.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had no problem with that. Jonathan Majors is fine. I just kind of wish they would have made him a little more arrogant. If they make Doctor Doom, eventually they're going to bring Doctor Doom into the MCU. They've not gotten Doctor Doom right. They're not even close to getting Doctor Doom right in any kind of movie adaptation yet. The closest one was the Roger Corman 1994 $50,000 budget cheesy Fantastic Four movie. If you've never seen that, that's how sad Fox got stumbled on Doctor Doom. How do you mess up Doctor Doom? You know what I mean? Doctor Doom should have a Disney show, like him in Latveria, and I don't know, man. If they make him like toned down like they kind of did Kang. Here's what Kang sits there during the last half of the movie, he sits there. I haven't even touched on MODOK yet. Okay.
Right.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, that's not MODOK. The MODOK for the comic book is totally different. But anyway, Kang is standing. He stands around and watches the rebellion, the resistance come. He's watching Ant-Man come, who's grown to Godzilla proportions. He's watching them come in and start destroying his citadel, and he just stands there.
Right.
He does nothing, and then he gets mad, and then he goes out there and he starts tearing them up. He starts shooting the lay. I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna see Kang really, and then he acts like a bitch.
It's not.
And then
it's more than just that. Like, from a conqueror, like I was expecting this guy.
Right.
If he was so powerful as he deemed he was, I would expect like that entire battlefield to just be vaporized. But no, he was just doing laser beams out of his hands, like just picking out people one by one. I'm like, wait, this is a conqueror.
Right. That was. Don't get me wrong. I like the visuals of it,
Right,
but that's not Kang. Kang would not go out and go, he wouldn't be blasting like Repulsor Ray Iron Man. Now, I thought it looked cool, but it's just not true to the character. Right. He would have, I was expecting him to unleash some giant robots or some kind of more MODOK. For one, the comic book version of MODOK has nothing to do with quantum realms. He's the AIM. He's the leader of AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics. Yeah, he's just like their leader, their central intelligence, and they made him into an absolute. You know what it reminded me of? You know what MODOK reminded? You ever seen the 1995 Judge Dredd with Rob Schneider and Stallone?
Yeah, yes.
He reminded me of the side character that Rob Schneider was, the comic relief. You made MODOK the freaking comic relief by making him look goofy on purpose with the stretched out. He's Yellow Jacket. He's that daring guy from Ant-Man 1. Why?
Yeah,
Why didn't they just have Yellow Jacket got trapped in the quantum? That's how he beat Yellow Jacket in the first movie. He trapped him in the quantum realm. Why does he have to make him into a clown character? Okay, yeah. I know they want to have MODOK. There's way more. There's better ways.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, even with the me not being as versed as comics as you are, I know for a fact that MODOK is a much more powerful character. Like from the things that I've seen that a lot of people said on the internet, like MODOK.
He's not a weapon.
Yeah, MODOK is usually the guy he usually has the yellow Infinity Stone in his forehead. I forgot what stone that was, and he's doing things with his intelligence, his brain. It's like what they did with Marvel versus Capcom 3 when they made MODOK an entire fighting area. He had an Infinity Stone in his forehead, but with this MODOK, he's just a bounty hunter. He's not really anything, special.
Yeah,
when it pertains to like Kang and all that stuff. He's just a bounty hunter.
Yeah, he's a weapon for Kang. Well, that's the silliest weapon ever created in the history of freaking hired muscle or created. You're gonna create that character. The guy that wrote that probably doesn't know much about comic books. I mean,
there's a lot of directors in Hollywood that don't really know a lot about comic books. But here's the thing: I'm not really that versed in comic books either. But I do know that these characters that they do depict, like by example, She-Hulk, they made She-Hulk just into this feminist logo they did in the series, the Disney Plus series, and a lot of us know that like she's not like that. She's her own individual. She's a female version of Hulk, but she's not this toxic. Oh, man should be doing this, man should be doing that type thing. And
no, she's not.
Yeah, and the same thing, when it pertains to MODOK, he's not some lackey guy that Kang just brought forth in order to hunt down some people in the quantum realm. He's somebody who's a lot more dangerous than that, actually.
Well, he's the MODOK is actually the brains behind AI. You know what I mean? Advanced Idea Mechanics. He would never be used. Now he's got that band originally. Now they might have retconned some sort of infinity stone in his forehead like they did the Vision. That was never an infinity stone in the comic books, in their forehead. But originally, MODOK's just like he's the central intelligence. Like I said, he doesn't actually do physical fighting.
Right.
He can zap your mind. He can like put you in a coma or whatever with his psi band, but he's not going to, like, physical altercations are way above. Like, he holds contempt with anybody that's trying to touch him. Get away from my being, kind of like Doctor Doom. In that sense. And Kang's like that as well. Kang wouldn't throw down fisticuffs with Antman or Giant Man or anybody. He's above all that. He just sits there in his timeshare and lets his technology fight for him. That's Kang. So, I know I'm harping on that point, but what they should have done is had that Yellow Jacket character, that Darren from Ant-Man 1. It's fine to trap him in the quantum realm. They could have had him meet up with Kang and spill the secrets. Hey, Scott Lang's the guy you want to tap into to get out of this place. That would have been, not make him into some sort of clown show weapon, because he kept saying, I'm the ultimate weapon. MODOK is the ultimate. Nah, come on, man. And then they had him going around with these buzzsaw. That's not. I'd like to pick the brain of that clown that wrote that movie, because I would be like, for one, who greenlit this thing? They had like I said, they had potential for a really good movie the first 45 minutes.
Right.
And then it off the rails.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
I was the same way. I was the same way. Like, so they are going into the quad round. I'm guessing they going to have I
like that part.
A pretty fantastic concept right there. But no, it was more like, they just shrunk down to a much more smaller subatomic area, and now they gotta go to war with this all powerful conqueror, when he didn't really do anything in that movie to actually seem like he's like this huge conqueror. He's just some guy who just kills, like, not conqueror type at all. And
he's trapped there. He can't get out. He's got to make. Well, we made a deal. No, you didn't make a deal. He threatened your daughter.
Right.
And that's not a deal. I thought the plot was going to be much more complex, and I was hoping they were going to develop it more for a future movie. And what we get in this credit scene, we got a preview of Loki 2. For Disney Plus, basically the second. Did you watch the second?
Yeah.
Credit scene?
Yeah. Where
you see him like back in the past, like in Civil War days or something, where he's up there talking on the podium, and Loki's like, "Oh, that's him."
Yeah.
You really need to watch.
Yeah, he's like
Loki.
He's like some Einstein type guy.
Yeah, like Tesla or something like that. Exactly, yeah. But. Yeah, it's just, God, that movie, like I said, they had potential. I liked the direction it was going the first half hour, 45 minutes to a certain extent, but then they just fell flat developing anything. Bill Murray. Oh, we're going to have Bill Murray. And that was
stupid.
Thrown in there. Oh, my God. It's like,
Oh, hold on. I was like, wait, Bill Murray in the MCU movie, and he's supposed to be like some type of governor for Kang. I'm like, wait.
Or some. Well, originally he was against Kang, and then he kind of hinted that they were friends, and then he actually had to succumb to Kang's rule. But didn't she think that was going to happen? If she was so scared of Kang, she would have. She's seeking out these people, not knowing that they're going to be compromised by Kang if he's the all powerful, overlord of the quantum. It's just
that's also the other thing. Like, they say, like, oh well, you betrayed us, and then you looked us to Kang. Like, what exactly did she do? Like, to make to make you guys go to Kane? Like, did she just leave, or did she like just abandon you guys, to fight for yourself, and then she went her own way? Like, what exactly did she do to actually make you guys join Kane? Because I don't think that was ever explained in the movie either. It's just they fought Kane. They was freedom fighters or terrorists. Whichever way you see it, but they don't actually explain like what exactly she did.
She didn't actually. Her actions when she took his technology, that globe, that little globe that supposedly powers all his time travel technology, where he can get out of, supposedly it gets him out of the quantum zone or the quantum realm. I keep calling it the quantum zone. And she puts pin particles on it and blows it up where you only see like a molecule of it or something, where, and that's the thing Ant-Man had to penetrate to try to shrink it back down to size. Yeah. But she actually did more to combat Kang than anybody else. So why does she feel guilty? She didn't know that he was gonna like be pissed off that she got out and he didn't, and he can't get out, so he's gonna just conquer. He didn't. I mean, she knew that he was a conqueror, but that's not gonna change his fact that he could do all that stuff. He's still gonna do that stuff regardless. They're mad that she didn't like let him out of the quantum realm, and then all existence, supposedly all existence goes up in flames then. Right. If he gets out, he destroys timelines, everybody's timeline. It's a nonsensical story. Like I said, I'd love to sit down and talk to the guy. What were you thinking when you wrote this? I mean,
it's a lot of things that they done so wrong. Like all the freedom fighters hate Michelle Pfeiffer's character. What's her name again?
Janet Van Dyne. Original Wasp. You can just say original Wasp. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they hate her. They want nothing to do with her. MODOK came out of nowhere and just said, "Oh, he." And then the whole pronouns thing. Oh, you are here, so he knows you're here. Like, okay, so we know who him is. Like the whole pronoun game they was doing for a whole 20 minutes straight. Like, he's coming. He knows you're here. Like, he wants you. Like, oh, well, we know it's Kane. Just say Kane.
It's fake tension building is what it is. Instead of actually showing events of Kang's, like flashbacks of how Kang conquered the quantum realm, or how he got exiled, or why they're so afraid of him. Right. They just tell you. They just like drop little hints that you should be tense about this, that this is, the stakes of this are going to be high. You got to show us. You got to show that's the case. You know what I mean? With Thanos, he sent an army through a portal, an alien army to destroy the Earth. That's pretty big stakes.
Yeah, we also had about six movies to actually show us how dangerous Thanos was. When it came to Kang,
and how powerful the Infinity Stones were as well. Right. Yeah, all building to something. There's nothing building for Kang. He wants to get out of the quantum. He's a bitch. He can't get out of the quantum realm. Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like
for 30 years, he can't escape. He can build a citadel, but he can't escape the quantum realm. Oh, this guy is terrifying, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's the next big thing. So they can't get Galactus, because I think pretty sure Fox still owns the rights to Galactus and a lot of Marvel characters. But they can't get the Galactus, so they gotta get some other guy. And then the first movie where it seems like he's a huge threat, they just basically
Ultron's a bigger threat,
right? And he literally had one movie. Ultron.
Yeah, and they made him a bitch. I mean, you know what I mean? That should have been a build up. Age of Ultron, one movie,
right?
They should have done that right, and that was the worst Avengers movie in my opinion. But
Age of Ultron?
By far,
really?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Ah, man.
It wasn't as good as Civil War's not an Avengers movie.
That's Captain America movie.
Yeah, that's Captain America. But I didn't like Age of Ultron near as much as I liked Infinity War it's just the stakes could have been a lot higher. Age of Ultron the stakes should have been multiple movies.
Right.
They should have made that. They should have built that up into. He's a much more significant villain than Kang. Really, I mean, if you're talking about comic book lore,
Yeah,
but
I do
Kang is up there. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, I do remember Ultron. He did hold the Infinity Gauntlet multiple times, and he did kill Thanos a whole bunch of times as well. Hopefully I'm right about that. Yeah,
later on down the road, but in the old days, I'm old, man. I'm more old school. In the old days, Ultron was the big threat to the Avengers, and
Right.
he was created by Hank Pym. He wasn't created by Tony Stark. But I mean, I go on about Avengers comic book history, which doesn't have much to do with Ant-Man, but but you said you were disappointed in the movie. I wasn't really disappointed because I wasn't really expecting the first half of the movie. To me, was a pleasant surprise, and then they ruined it.
I mean, my thing is if you talk about the quantum, the quantum realm, and you going into this whole multiverse thing, because me, some people dislike the multiverse theory. I actually enjoy the multiverse theory because it shows like a lot more creativity can go with these certain characters. But what they did here when it came to Antman and the Wasp Quantumania is like, y'all had so much potential here. Y'all are talking about a microscopic realm where anything can be done or possible here, and then y'all just tarnished it with this itty bitty. Oh, we need to help these guys out here. Y'all just doing it with that. Like that's where I was really disappointed. Like, again, they talk about a microscopic realm like the quantum realm, and then y'all just dropped the ball on it. Like, y'all could have did so much better with this. That's what I was disappointed at.
The ending of Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania is a lesson on how not to end a movie.
Right.
It didn't. They've got Scott Lang walking, going, yeah, we got rid of, they're playing Welcome Back Kotter theme and all that stuff, welcome back. And he's walking, he goes, and then we beat Kang and we beat him, right?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be tension.
Yeah.
Show me that, leave it on a cliffhanger. You don't know if Kang got out or not. You don't know if he warped his whole. Remember, he was wanting to take his whole citadel with him and all of that. I mean, in the future, he's got all that stuff.
Right.
He runs the show in the 35th century. Why not have him start bringing all that stuff to the present? Bring his big threat is bringing all his future technology that he controls to the past from the future, and then he controls the whole show and ensures that his future is secured. They should have done it that way. In the quantum realm, he's nothing.
Right.
He's castrated. He's freaking, they've cut his balls off, putting him in the quantum, in the quantum realm. It's just the end, and plus the ending, that those futuristic ants, that's how you're gonna.
Oh yeah.
And I love it. He put the force field up. That's Kang. He's got that force field.
Right.
You can't touch him. In the comic books, it was very few heroes ever laid a hand on him. He's got that force field. And they kind of hinted about how badass he was, because when Kang first encounters Scott Lang, he goes, Scott Lang, you're a very interesting man. And then he threatens his daughter, and then he uses like his force power, his technology to pin him up against the walls. That was cool. And then they made him panic. Like, he sees all this rebellion people, and then he sees these ants coming, and he totally gets scared and he panics and he's sweating. Kang doesn't sweat.
And that's the thing. Like in the movie, they said he killed a bunch of Avengers in the movie.
Avengers, really?
Like which Avenger did he kill? Because they ain't show him actually doing any of that. Like, which Avenger did he actually kill? They just say, oh, we just gonna throw it in here just because we want to make him more we want to make him actually seem a very dangerous enemy. Like
We're
okay,
going to talk him up and not show the receipts.
right?
Yeah. Why not show some flashbacks of him battling Avengers in some kind of variant timeline? That would have been epic. And then showing him kill Thor, showing him turn Hulk back to Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner sitting there going, you know what I mean? Right. Using his technology, like Null Field or something to like cut off all the gamma radiation or something like. There's a million things they could have done to make this epic.
Right.
But
seems like we got much more better ideas than a lot of those directors over there in Disney.
Oh my God, dude! I'm not saying I could write 100 times better script than the dude that they greenlit that. And I'm just saying I could. I think a lot of people could. I mean, I'm not, I'm just saying, come on, man. Where is the the MCU is going to be in trouble if they keep going down this slope, because I want to be a fan. I really want to be a fan.
Yeah.
I love the first Iron Man. I'm doing a video tomorrow where I rank my 30 MCU films.
Mm-hmm.
I rank my order of them, and I now I can throw Antman. I'm comparing him to a guy from Bounding Into Comics that he made an article where he's ranking his top 30,
right.
And now I know where I can put Antman and the Wasp 3. But
right. It's gonna be probably
but
at the very bottom, isn't it?
All of these movies, they're gonna have to start taking this stuff. Get the comedy out of it. Bring the Russo brothers back, man, as directors. The guy that did Winter Soldier, the guys that did Captain America: Civil War. You can throw in little nuggets of comedy, like smart ass quips, but you can't like cut to it every 5 minutes. There's no tension building for Kang. Every time there was any kind of tension building, let's go crack a joke. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, man.
I mean, yeah,
it's doomed, Blaze. I'm telling you, MCU is doomed.
I mean, it's been on the decline since Endgame, because you don't have your 6-star players anymore. Well, I mean, they still got Hawkeye and Hulk, but they're not doing anything with Hulk. They just made Hulk this progressive, non-violent, big brute type kind of guy. Like, they don't have Iron Man, they don't have Captain America, they don't have they still kind of got Thor, but Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth's starting to lose interest, I have a feeling. That last movie kind of sunk him. Let's not even talk about it. That movie's not even worth talking about. Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Spoiler, my video that I'm releasing tomorrow night, that's the worst MCU movie ever made, in my view. Right. Thor: Love and Thunder. I liked Ant-Man 10 times better than and I didn't like Ant-Man Quantumania that much, but I liked it 10 times better than Thor: Love and Thunder. I'll just put it that way. But they're gonna have to do something, Blaze, because this stuff is.
Yeah.
I want to be a fan, but this stuff is just going down the tubes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's nothing more than poor writing, poor plots, the stories. What are they going to do in the future? Who's the Avengers lineup going to be? It's going to be sad. You're going to have a female Black Panther. You're going to have Cassie, Stinger, or whatever they're going to call him. You're going to have a female. You're going to have the new Junior Wasp. You're going to have probably some female version of Thor maybe coming. I don't know what they're going to do, man. Brie Larson, Kamala Khan. This is not going to carry a big in-game epic Kang Dynasty movie. They had to make Kang. They had to hit a home run with Kang,
right?
Because the villain's all they have. Because the hero side of things isn't very interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not.
I mean, there hasn't really been any big villain, and it's been like 3 years since Endgame. They have not really introduced like an actual villain that would be a universe threatening type guy ever since individual since Thanos. Like, there has not really been any speculation of that at all. It's just like, all right, we adding in all these heroes here, but then they're gonna have their own individual villains, but then the villains don't really go anywhere. Like, what they did with She-Hulk, what they did with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, kind of. And
Yeah.
the thing what they did with Miss Marvel, like they bringing forth all these Disney Plus series, and there's not really any big name villain that they can actually keep on going with the MCU. That's the major problem. Like once again, I know that they want Doctor Doom. I know they want Galactus, but they don't have the rights to it, and it is screwing them up when it pertains to like actually getting like a big time movie villain that they can use to try to push out like 12 movies to build up for. They don't have the rights to those characters. And God, hopefully they don't do the same thing with Galactus they did with the Fantastic Four. We're not even gonna mention that. I'm pretty sure you already know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're not even gonna mention that.
And I do think they are getting the rights. I might not be right. I think they are in the process because they're bringing the X-Men.
Right.
They're getting the rights back to all that stuff. They are having the Fantastic Four in the MCU eventually.
Yeah.
Because they had Reed Richards. They had Reed Richards in the Doctor Strange movie. Remember they had.
But I think
a version of him.
Yeah, I think he did quit because apparently there was something going on with the actor who played Reed Richards and the directors over there at Disney. I think he's not playing Reed Richards anymore. I might be wrong here, but
yeah, I meant the character though, not the actor. Yeah, John Krasinski played him in that. The guy from The Office played him in the Illuminati version of Reed Richards in the Doctor Strange movie. He was in he was on the screen 90 seconds maybe, before he got destroyed. But
that was a terrible movie. That was a stupid movie.
See, I kind of like that one more than I liked anything that's come out since Endgame, except for the Spider-Man. I thought the Spider-Man was better than all of them put together. But if I had a second favorite, it would have been Doctor Strange. I liked it more than Ant-Man.
I mean, my thing is, okay, Wanda is upset because she is talking about some kids she never had in the first place. So
I watched your video. On it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So she's going to the multiverse, making this other Wanda a complete villain of her universe, and then she's all for kidnapping another version of her kids when she never even really had kids in the first place. And then when you brought forth this is what really pissed me off. Like I said, y'all already watched this video. You guys brought forth 3 powerhouses for the MCU. You brought forth Mr. Fantastic. You brought forth Professor X, and you brought forth the Captain Marvel. Black Bolt, and that also Captain Marvel, which a lot of people could actually get behind because the original.
Monica Ram, the Photon, Monica Ram. Was that the version? I can't remember if that was the version. Monica Rambeau.
Yeah,
which is a good character.
Yeah.
I like that character.
Yeah. They brought them forth. I get that Wanda is a very Scarlet Witch. She's a very dangerous person in the MCU. But they brought forth the Illuminati, and then they act like she was not this big of a threat. I'm like, so did they make these characters just completely, cocky as hell?
Moronic.
Yeah,
moronic, because
cocky.
They should have been on high alert.
Right.
Especially when they know she's possessed by Chthon.
Right.
Chthon is like a huge level threat. That would have been a much more interesting level threat. That could have been a great threat for future Avengers movies.
Right.
Chthon is originally from late 70s, early 80s Avengers comic books, but they were kind of basing it on a couple issues from I think 1980 Avengers, but that's the reason why I kind of enjoyed that movie, because they had some callbacks from some really classic Avengers comic books that I loved as a kid. And I love Sam Raimi, the director, but they didn't. You could tell there was a lot of studio tinkering with the movie. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a good movie, but I enjoyed it. There's a lot of aspects I like about that movie. That a couple things I enjoy. I like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange.
Right.
I like him, even though they make him a little more of a smart ass. But and I like Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah.
But overall, the movie wasn't really good. Don't get me wrong, but I did enjoy it. I had a better time. I could suspend my cynicism about the Marvel Universe while I was watching that movie a little more than I can. I was a little more forgiving of that movie than I am most of them lately.
Right.
But Ant-Man, I wanted to like it, man. I wanted to like it, but
Yeah. Same here. Actually,
I didn't have a big expectation for it, Blaze, especially after Thor: Love and Thunder.
yeah.
And I never had a big expectation for Wakanda Forever. I love Namor, Submariner
Right.
character. Uh, I I wasn't totally off on how they depicted him. I think they could have made him better.
Right.
I didn't like the fact that they made some kind of they had to retcon some. They should have just used Atlantis instead of using Tolkien or whatever the name of the underwater realm that he was the king of.
Right.
They kind of mishandled that character as well. But I don't know. It could have been worse. I didn't hate Wakanda Forever. I want to see Black. When I see a Black Panther movie, I want to see Black. I love Black Panther. I got Black Panther stuff on my wall right here.
Right.
I love Black Panther, dude. You don't understand. I've loved him since the freaking 70s.
Right.
And I mean, I love that character, and I loved him in Civil War, man. I was like, oh, I can't wait for this Black Panther movie, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh no. Oh no, come on. Where's the action? Where's the,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't expect much from an Ant-Man movie. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I was expecting a little more from Kang.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, just make sure I don't forget about this, because this is the one that's apparently pissed off a lot of people. Where
Oh,
Scott, the original Ant-Man, like the old guy who was doing the experiments with the ants.
Him. Yeah.
Where he said, well, these ants, they made their own. I'm sorry. Yeah, they traveled through the quantum realm for thousands of years, and then they came up with their own utopia, their own build futuristic
Technology.
type things. Yeah, and then he said, "What?" Then the whole
I know where you're getting at.
Yeah, I'm not the big thing about. I'm not huge on socialism, but maybe we should look into like something like that. I was like, whoa, no, stop.
Absolutely nonsensical insert. It's another example of a writer throwing a little jab of their self-insert politics into their little screenplay there. What do ants have to do with social? Ants are instinctual insect hive mind colony. They don't have any kind. You really want to live as an insect? I mean, That's not socialism. It's people. It's just ignorant people that have no idea what they're talking about. But I'm going to throw this in there just to do it, and a little bit under the radar. I just kind of went. I knew that was coming because I watched a couple people. I think I watched Eric July's video on it or something. Yeah, so I was like, I read some sort of little thing about it. It didn't really bother me that much. It's just cringe. At that point, I was wanting the movie to be over, and I'll tell you when I lost interest in the movie. It's when, after Kang made the deal with Scott Lang, and he started going into that crazy realm where there was thousands of him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was trying to crawl, and then they're all working together. Cassie, and he's climbing out. That's when I started going, oh boy. Here, the train is about ready to go off the rails. When I was watching that movie, I remember sitting there thinking, and there were a couple of young people in the audience. There's about maybe 30 people in there, and they were laughing at all these cringy jokes, man. And I'm sitting there going, really, guys?
Yeah, I ain't laugh
really?
Either. I ain't laugh either. That was
I didn't chuckle one time. I thought the shrunk down cop car was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. She shrunk down a cop car. Oh, whoopee. That's a callback from Ant-Man 1. When they were doing all that. But I don't know. I be honest with you, I haven't liked any of the Ant-Man movies that much. Ant-Man 1 was okay. Ant-Man 2 I hated. I didn't like it at all. That was a snooze fest to me. I was bored. I was bored. They had Bill Foster. You get Lawrence Fishburne playing Bill Foster, who is Black Goliath, an epic 70s comic book character. They do nothing with him.
Right.
I'm sitting there going, man, you guys, they don't know what they have. They got people writing this stuff that don't know what they have.
Yeah, that's what any comic book live action Hollywood movie they trying to do. Like the whole James Gunn thing, he's doing a whole reboot with the whole DCU. Like, my thing is, you could have kept Henry Cavill, you could have kept Ben Affleck, and you could have kept Gal Gadot, because Gal Gadot is actually a good Wonder Woman in my opinion. But,
it's not bad. Yeah.
But they are just recasting all these characters because the whole Zack Snyder bit, they trying to make sure they rid everything of Zack Snyder and make sure everything's James Gunn. Look, don't get me wrong. When they
don't want to pay him either.
Yeah, that's the thing. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They want to try to. I mean, James Gunn. He is the one that. Wait. Hopefully that's James Gunn, not Bruce Timm. I'm thinking about. When they trying to do the whole animation movies and make them into live action. So they want to make sure they get somebody who did the whole animation movies. They did that whole DC anime universe. When it came, and the final movie was the Apocalypse, Apocalypse War, which dark ass movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, DC does really good animated movies. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, and now they trying to
most of the time.
Yeah, now they trying to bring that to the live action, and James Gunn was the guy that was actually, like I said, I'm hoping I'm getting this right. He was the one that was in most of those visions when it came to the animated movies. That's what they're trying to do with there. They want to make sure that they stick to that formula, because when they try to do it, the whole Avengers MCU thing, and now that the MCU is now dead, so to speak, because
or dying.
Yeah,
it's dying.
Dying because they don't have.
It's not quite dead. It's got a little bit of a pulse, just a little bit. Yeah,
just a tad bit, because they don't have their star power anymore. They don't have the characters. They don't have the characters that everybody loves. They got She-Hulk. A lot of people do love She-Hulk. It's just how she's written. That's the problem. Like I said,
it's more bad faith activist, feminist people that have no interest in comic book characters. They couldn't care less about these comic book characters. They really couldn't. Right. They just want to put their own little spin on things. These characters don't need your spin. These characters have been beloved. I bought the first She-Hulk off the comic book rack in 1979. All right.
Right.
She-Hulk was a beloved character for the longest time. And solo book sales wise, it didn't do that great, but there's been some good creators that have done some runs on She-Hulk that were really, liked by most of the fans. Comic fan. Yeah. I love that character. I don't need some kind of feminist activist that's got social media cred writing these characters. You know what I mean? But your point of DC, they're trying to do the Spider-Man No Way Home thing. They're bringing in, because Ben Affleck is going to be in the Flash movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Michael Keaton is going to have an appearance in there. They're doing the whole nostalgia, what I mean? Bring back to try to get the interest going in. In all fairness, this is the perfect time for DC to strike.
Right. Because
Marvel's on the way down. DC needs to come. If Flash is bad, if the Flash movie's bad, all that plan that James Gunn spelled out for the next 8 years, a lot of that you can just throw it out the window. Warner Brothers ain't going to sink more money into bad investments. You know what I mean? They're really not going to. Discovery's looking at selling them. Discovery owns Warner Brothers. They're looking to rid themselves of that.
They literally just bought them, though. They already selling them?
Yeah. The rumor is that if the ship doesn't get righted soon, they're going to be on the chopping block. did you see the slot lined up for the next 8 years of what some of the projects for DC they're talking about?
Yeah,
The
Superman.
only thing, Legacy,
Yeah,
yeah,
the Brave and the Bold. John Stewart and
Lanterns,
Lanterns.
TV
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna make it True Detective, but with lanterns. What
yeah,
does that mean?
yeah. Here's the thing. Like, I see the plan, and okay, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to rebrand it, make sure they bring in some actual characters that people care about. But it's just like, you gotta make sure, like, you are staying with the core fan base, because what they did these past 4 or 5 years would have changed to Hollywood. They pushed away a lot of people that actually cares about
Oh,
these
big time.
characters, and now
Yeah.
now that they're going towards the independent guys, such as Eric July, when it comes to him and Isom, and now when people are pissed off that a lot of people are not looking into these movies anymore because of what they did to these characters. Like, and like I said, I'm not that big on comic books. I'm more of a normie type guy, but I would still say, like, y'all should stick to your core fan base, or your main source of these characters, and stick with that. Don't be doing this whole She-Hulk is this huge feminist, where people well, men only see me as this jolly big green ripped attractive female, but when I'm this normal woman, men don't want anything to do with me because they have some type of fetish. Like, don't be doing that shit. Like, come
Well,
on.
they're writing everything in with contempt for that core audience that you're talking about. They're trying to somehow think what they're trying to do is they're trying to pit the people that actually love the core audience with supposedly this new batch of fans that they're supposed to be generating interest. They're trying to pit those two together.
Right.
If you make something good for your core audience that already exists, it's going to spill over and everyone's going to like it. The majority, not everyone, but the majority of people. You can't go wrong by having, like, I think I'm the target audience for MCU movies. I know the lore. I've been into comic books for over 45 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've been reading comic books since I was 7 years old. If you can appeal to me, if you can win me over, you're going to win over the vast majority of people. And that's what they did at the beginning of the MCU.
Right.
They won over that core. Iron Man 1 was a big step of winning over that core audience. If Iron Man 1 fails, if Iron Man 1 is off the rails and fails, you don't see a lot of this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? You really don't. And I just don't see why, in the case of like She-Hulk, why wouldn't you try? Your audience should be those core people that are familiar with the character, that want you to stick to the faithfulness of that source material. You know what I mean? Like Eric July says, for canon's sake, for God's sake, stick to the core essence of the character. Everything else falls into place. But they're not doing that. They write these shows for contempt for those people. Like, oh, we're going to show you that what you loved isn't that great, and we're going to reinvent all this and put our spin on it. We're going to insert our views into this, and we're going to show you that, yeah, and you're a piece of trash if you don't like what I inserted, the spin I put on it, Right. How dare you? It means you're a bad person. No, it means that I understand that you're a poser and you don't know what you're talking about when you're writing these movies. Right. That you have no love for these characters and you have no faith for the source material. That's what gets me.
Right.
I understand diverting the characters a little bit. You have to when you're talking about you're making a Fantastic Four movie. It's really hard to bring that to a screen. You know what I mean? It's hard to do a live action Fantastic Four movie. It really is. But there's no reason to go off the rails and try to actually reinvent it or put some sort of stupid spin on it or whatever they do with She-Hulk or whatever it is. Those movies are hard enough to make. Those shows are hard enough to make. As it is, you might as well just stick to your core fan base and make it easier on yourself.
Right.
I just don't understand why they try to reinvent everything all the time. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's contempt. It's not like they actually
Oh
want.
yeah.
It's not actually they want to actually put out some good products. It's just contempt, and that's why
Yeah.
a lot of people are moving away from the moving away from Hollywood. Yeah,
100%.
and that's hey, if they don't care about it, then why should any of us care about it? Like you said when it came to Antman and the Wasp Quantumania, they didn't actually care about Kang and his story and how powerful he was. They just had him just say, oh, he wants to go take over, and then he gets his ass whooped by a bunch of ants, and then
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and all of a sudden, like an army of futuristic ants dispatches him.
right.
And he puts his force field up, and then they push him back, and then you don't know what happens. That was such a what a bummer of an ending, man. I was just like, man, I was like, man, they could have at least salvaged a little bit of that last half of that movie by having an epic ending. Nah,
Nah,
they didn't know how to end that movie.
no,
You
they
know what I
didn't.
mean? Yeah, they know how to throw jokes in though. The failed, cringy ass jokes. They're masters at doing that now. It's like they're competing. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I had 5 jokes in this, in this 15-minute span. I threw in 5 jokes. Well, we'll have to one up him. We'll have to get 6 jokes in on the next movie in that 15. It's just, I'm just sitting there waiting for the next joke, the bad joke. I'm like, what the hell am I watching here? So
Right.
this is why I'm cynical anymore, and I don't go to the theaters and watch this stuff much anymore.
Right.
Really don't. But if you ever do want to talk about more of them, I will. That will force me to go to the theater, I guess, and
Now,
because I
oh,
want to like these Guardians of the Galaxy's next. Guardians of the
yeah.
Galaxy 3.
I
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
excited
like
for it.
I don't like how they did Nebula though. I don't like how they did her. Like, okay,
I don't like the way they did Nebula either.
yeah, it's like, and yeah, in Volume 3, that this is what a lot pisses a lot of people off. Like in Volume 1 and 2, you saw at least some kind of a attractiveness when it came to Nebula. Now it's like she's just this plain character that's not even like can't even bring an audience in. Even with the kind of character that's playing her, which she does her best for Nebula, but now it's just like she's just there. It's like none appealing for her whatsoever.
Not every character has to be sympathetic.
Right.
Like I understand that that's not Nebula in the comic, but that's not even close to being comic book Nebula. I mean, yeah, originally it was okay, that translates okay. When she's rage filled.
Yeah.
And now they're making her. Did you watch that holiday special that you probably didn't? The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special with Kevin Bacon?
No.
Oh my God. They had Nebula and Drax and all that. It's getting tired. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 1, but the second one, it's starting to go down the tubes. Adam Warlock should have been put in on the Infinity War. Why are they waiting for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to introduce Adam Warlock into the whole MCU is absolute mind-boggling to me. It's going to be enough. Well, we're just going to put him in there. We're going to put him in there for plot reasons. Ugh. So, yeah, I have no anticipation for that movie at all. That's probably a movie I'll go see, or probably a movie I'll wait for a streaming service or, whatever. But, yeah, I have no, ask me 5 years ago, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, if they're sequels to this, it's going to be great. But I've seen what they do. They just, I don't know. They need to be reined in. They need to get serious about the stuff. They've lost all seriousness about the content anymore.
Oh yeah.
I want serious superhero movies. I mean, yeah, you can have, and I'm not talking about no comedy or no little quips or jokes, but I want it to be taken serious. And these people are not taking this stuff serious anymore.
Right.
They're taking this stuff for granted that people are going to come see it, and they're not.
Right.
So I don't see it surviving another 6-7 years. I see the end of the MCU coming within that time zone.
Yeah.
Within that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless they put out another Spider-Man movie, but it's not. Spider-Man he's not going to be able to carry this whole franchise. They,
No, no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
like I know they want Captain Marvel, but hate that. I hate the character. I hate the actress of Captain Marvel. I just like
Did you see that they delayed the movie?
Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah. We're talking about the Marvels, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, right? The MCU Captain Marvel, not the Shazam. I'm
Oh
talking about,
yeah.
yeah, they delayed it, I guess. Supposedly it was supposed to come out in July, and they've delayed it till November.
I mean,
I wonder why, because it probably
who's really?
sucked.
Yeah, who's really? Who really wants to watch that movie? Like for real?
I won't. I wouldn't watch that if they paid me. It's gonna Kamala. I tried to watch Miss Marvel. I watched the first episode of that Kamala Khan Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. I was just like, there's no reason for this to exist. They can't even. It's already a horrible character, and they can't even get that right. They can't even get the horrible character right. I'm sitting there going, oh God. They screwed up her powers, everything.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They made her some kind of fangirl.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff in the MCU I ain't watched because, like I said, at the end game is like that was like, man, I'm gonna watch a movie here and there, but as far as being invested in this wholeheartedly is like it's not
just not into it.
Yeah, not really into it. And then
100%.
Yeah, same thing when it came to Antman 3. It's like I was not really interested, but I wanted to at least see what they was gonna go with the concept. And like I said, it was severely disappointing. My verdict, I would give it a 3 out of 10 because the visualization is what really saved this movie. But what's your take? What's your verdict on it?
If I were to rate it, I normally don't rate movies like on a number scale. I'd probably give it I'd give it maybe a 5, 4.5, 5 maybe. Only because I like Jonathan Majors. Don't get me wrong. I like him. They could have written the character better. Give him more to do. I have conquered, and you talk to ants. I was so cringe. I was so cringed at that line. That's not what Kang. And he's sitting there sweating.
Right.
He would absolutely dispel. He would dispatch Ant-Man. He would snap his fingers. That whole crew would be out of there. Okay.
Right.
There had to be more at stake there.
Yeah.
He talked about fighting Thor. Is that the one with the hammer or whatever? Why not show a flashback of him fighting Thor? But yeah, to wrap up the video, I give it a 5 out of 10. I'll be a little bit a little bit charitable there. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. A little generous, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And if I was gonna rank it, I'd probably rank it maybe. It's not even into my top half of my favorite MCU movies. Not even really close. So yeah.
So that's what you got for me and Cal Shock. Like we not really showing any love to this movie, man. We just not.
Nah. It had potential. It had me for the first half hour. I was like, okay, this might go somewhere. I might get excited again. No, they derailed that car. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I know I rambled a little bit. I got off a topic a little bit, but at the end of the day,
it's all good. You passionate about this stuff, man. So it's all good.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to get off your chest about? Like I said, you took some shots at the director. You want to take some shots at the at the mouse.
I'm pretty much over it. I mean, Disney's going to be Disney. They look what they've done to Star Wars. And then they go, oh, the brand is being. Is there any self-awareness going on at these companies? You better get some talented people that care about this stuff in here, and get rid of these activists. Get rid of these narcissistic social media. Whoever you're hiring to make this stuff. I mean, how do they get these jobs writing these movies? I am.
They got the right pronouns. That's what it is.
How does this happen, Blaze? How do you get a job writing an Ant-Man movie? Please let me know, because I'll submit a script to them.
Well,
Of course, they'll laugh at me because I'm a white guy that's 50 years old. Oh, he can't be. He's a piece of shit.
Well,
I mean,
you gotta have the right pronouns. You gotta have the right
uh,
politics, which me and you both don't have. So we not gonna
now
be
we're
high
getting
about
to
Disney.
now we're getting to the problem. But no, I have no problem with Disney. I'm over it. I saw this coming down the road.
Right.
I saw it coming.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I wish I had better news to report, but wah wah.
Yeah. Like we got
Bring Robert Downey Jr. back. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. It's all about honesty. We want to make sure we take it to Marvel, Marvel Studios. Make sure like, hey, y'all gotta make sure y'all do y'all movies better. Like, yeah, you want to actually bring people in, not drive people away from these movies, all because of some political agendas and anything like that. Also, make sure you join me on my Discord. The links are in the description below. You guys want to have a conversation, want to talk. You guys want to promote your own videos. You want to talk about gaming, movies, and TV shows, or politics. Just hit that link in the description box below, and let's have a chat. Also, make sure you follow me on my Twitch. I'll be on my Twitch sometimes, just playing games, be chilling. Some new games coming out this year that I want to play, especially when it comes to Resident Evil games, and just make sure you subscribe there, you follow me there, and let's have some fun. Also, make sure that you do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel because the YouTube algorithm is hurting everybody at this point, and they do not like seeing small guys like myself grow. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because your man try to get paid here, people. It don't take nothing but a second.